a Arlen Ness Big Sucker for our air cleaners. Reason being is there's a big plastic backing plate behind this air cleaner cover and a hole that's about that big that allows air to come in. This is going to remove that plastic backing plate and have an open backing plate, increasing airflow. Tech tip 1. We're going to remove this stock air cleaner cover. Got here a 5/16 Allen on a 3/8 drive ratchet, and you're going to want to make sure that that's in that bolt really well so you don't strip that out. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. This is stock equipment on every Harley. Once you get this off, there's a rubber gasket here. We're not going to need that anymore. We're going to reuse this part here. So if you want, this is a good time to clean this up. Use some Windex and a nice soft rag and put this off to the side. Make sure not to scratch it or anything. We're going to reuse this. Tech tip 2. We're going to remove the stock paper element here. Get rid of these breather hoses. And what I got here is T27 Torx. That's going to remove these bolts right here. Now this bracket here was to hold the stock air cleaner cover on. We're not going to reuse that either because that's already built into the new air cleaner. Now once you get that off, you're going to remove these two little rubber hoses back here. They just pop right off, and you're just going to pitch this off to the side because you're not going to use this anymore. You can see how restrictive this paper element is. It gets awfully dirty and it's not cleanable. You can't recharge it, you can't reuse it. So every tune-up you're going to wind up replacing this thing. Tech tip 3. I'm going to remove the stock backing plate here. What I have here is a 7/16 deep socket, and we're going to remove these two breather bolts right here. The motor breathes through the heads. When we remove these, this whole backing plate's going to come off. Now these, we don't need these anymore because our new backing plate actually breathes through itself and has a nice, shiny, good-looking bolt to it. Once you have that off, you can get rid of that because we're not going to use that anymore. That's what it used to breathe through. Now we're going to give it some air. Tech tip number 4. Now's a good time. Get yourself a little bit of carburetor cleaner, choke cleaner, and a rag. Make sure you get the carbon choke cleaner that doesn't harm the sensors. We're going to go ahead and just shoot a little bit of this stuff in there and get a rag and get cleaning on that throttle body because you don't really get an opportunity to do that much. And then over here you got a little bit of residual grease and oil on the breather cans. We want to clean that off too. We're going to put new O-rings on here when we install the new plate. Tech tip number 5. When you get this out of the box, we're going to grease up the O-rings here and adhere this gasket. This is a self-adhering gasket. It has a little peel-off strip. You want to line it up and stick it to the backing plate. Then you want to get yourself just a little bit of bearing grease and grease these O-rings right here. Make sure they're seated in their little grooves. When you do this, this just gives it a real good seal and it makes sure that the O-rings don't tear. Tech tip number 6. In the new air cleaner kit, we have a new breather bolt. This breather bolt's hollow, has a hole all the way through it and a hole off to the side. This allows the heads to breathe through the air cleaner, so no more breather hoses. Also, you have a washer and another O-ring, and that O-ring's already greased up. You want to make sure you grease that. Set those on. And then we're going to go ahead and install our backing plate. Make sure that lines up and get one of these breather bolts started. It's a good idea to put a little dab of blue Loctite on these. You don't want these coming loose. These are going to install right here. Now you want to install all this loosely. Once you get these 3 to line up, then you're going to snug down your breather bolts. Now we've got our 5/16 Allen on a 3/8 drive again. And at this point, you want to make sure that you don't pinch the O-ring. And you're going to go ahead and snug the stands tight. Now your backing plate's installed. Tech tip 7. This is your old backing plate. This is the restrictive guy right here. We've made that a lot smaller and opened up the whole rear surface of this air cleaner. The other thing you need to know is you need to oil your air cleaner every once in a while. If it starts to look like this instead of this, it's lost all its oiling. You just need to recharge the air cleaner. It should look nice and pink. I'm going to go ahead and install this right here. What we have here is a 5/32 Allen on a 3/8 drive. You want to snug these down good and tight. Now your new element's installed. Tech tip number 8, we're going to install that stock cover again. Now at this point, what you need to know is just about every oil change you're going to want to re-oil that filter.